Coming back into society from the prison setting was extremely difficult. I came home in the middle of COVID, so everything was different. Everything was not how I remembered it, and not having the resources necessary made it twice as hard. A lot of homeowners and landlords believe that renting to people with a record could be problematic. I don't believe the same thing. So my goal is to change that narrative by doing it myself. So when the opportunity presented itself for me to purchase property, I did. And I purchased it with the mindset of reentry housing for people that were coming out of prison, more specifically for exonerees, people with shared experience to me. And that transition from the prison setting to a safe, peaceful environment was something that was extremely important to me. So I started Nixon Investment Group to fill the need for housing. People assume that when you're exonerated, that your record is clear. That's not a true statement. It's not true at all. There's a whole legal process that has to take place in order for your record to get clear. So for a person in my situation, even though I was exonerated, I was still being excluded from job opportunities or being able to live in certain spaces because of the record that I still carried that I had no control over having removed from my name. Not only was it discriminatory, it was like perpetual punishment for something that I didn't do. I don't think a lot of people realize that safe housing is literally the foundation to success. Something that we have been working towards at the organization Entrepreneurship is create our own micro loan program to eliminate the need to go to these predatory lenders. And that's how we wound up in conversation with Paul, trying to figure out if there was a way to do this within our own organization at more of a fixed rate, control rate, as opposed to the exorbitant rates that these predatory lenders were charging. Not long after him joining ProsperUs, he and I bumped into each other at a convening up in Lansing. We were at Michigan State. We bumped into each other, and this was shortly after I had just purchased the apartment building. And he and I began to have conversations about what my intentions were with the building. And he quickly started to tell me about the resources that ProsperUs had available. And he asked me if, I was looking for funding. And I explained, yes, of course. What I didn't want to do is to overburden myself with finances that I didn't have. And, he offered to sit down and have a conversation, and we did. And from there, the conversation began about their lending programs. And then me and Matt began to have conversations about what my goals were, what the purpose of the location will be. Matt came out, did a site visit. We talked. Well, he saw it with his own eyes. He understood what I was trying to do. He felt like it was a great idea. He supported it. And from there, I began the application process, and eventually I was approved, and that's how our relationship began. Once I understood what ProsperUs stood for, it was an easy answer for me. With ProsperUs, the thing to be proud of is that they don't shy away from difficult situations. When I did run into a problem, they helped me find solutions. They helped me navigate difficulties. They talked me through what I think other people would have neglected or chosen not to help me. ProsperUs stood in that space. Not only did they stand in that space, they offered me resources that they didn't have to. The technical assistance, the ability to connect me with different accountants or bookkeeping people or contractors. These were all things that I don't think I could have got from a traditional lending program. Matt was dope. I'll say it as simple as possible. Like, he did everything what I would say not traditionally. I wasn't expecting a site visit. Like, he literally was like, yo, what's the address? I'm pulling up. It's like, wait, what? He talked to me like a human being. He didn't talk over my head. He didn't try to confuse me with things. He asked straight questions. When he was confused about something, he asked. When he needed clarity in certain spaces, he just simply asked, like, hey, what's up with this? Or what are your plans for this? Or what do you want to do about that? To me, those were all things that make me feel comfortable as an entrepreneur, as someone that is trying my best to do my best. Paul was that encouraging voice in the background telling me to keep going. It just shows how much they want to see me win. And for me, like coming from the street, you don't really find a lot of people that genuinely want to see you win and don't want anything in return. They get it. One of the major things that I think comes with being an entrepreneur is legacy building. And for me, being able to pass something on to the next generation is huge. Nixon Investment Group is a LLC, limited liability company, that I plan to put into a trust and to pass on to my granddaughter. And the goal is for it to be generational wealth, which is something that didn't happen for me. I want to be extremely intentional about the next generation of my family. And you do that by estate planning and trust building and working through the legalities of making sure that there's something there for the next generation to build on. In order to be successful, you got to do the things that nobody else is willing to do.